Hello and welcome to the NewsX Sunday Garden Roundtable. Well, it certainly has been a controversial start to the new year, what with the Congress raking up the Rafale deal and the BJP bringing in a host of populist promises, all with the eye on the 2019 election. Today on the Roundtable, we are going to be discussing, has the posturing for the 2019 election begun and what good will it do to each party? Joining me on the Roundtable is Pawan Verma from the JDU, Sudhanshu Mittal from the BJP, Rajiv Gowda from the Congress and Kalikesh Singh Deo from the BJD. Rajiv, we can see a whole lot of posturing that is taking place. You obviously want to make corruption a big issue. The BJP, on the other hand, wants to divert the narrative and they brought about this recent constitutional amendment for the urban poor. Who do you think is getting the upper hand? What are the issues that will dominate?
Unfortunately for the BJP, there are just a host of issues on which they've been faltering. The last elections, they lost all 5 states, and the resounding mandate was against their non-performance, the fact that they've sort of imbibed division and violence into society, the intolerance that continues to pervade, and the very fact that they're not able to address the central problems of the day, agrarian distress, jobs for youth, and have not been able to deliver on the mega promises that they made in 2014. So basically, I think the people of India are waiting to get this government out of the way and to return the country to the hands of the Congress-led alliance, because that's where you will see governance in its best form, you will see promises that can be met, and you can see the signs of desperation on the part of the BJP. This reservation move is clearly something that if they were really sincere about this, they should have brought it in years ago. We are all supportive of the move. It's there in our manifesto. They've basically taken an idea that we've also been articulating for a while. So fundamentally, what I see is a panic-stricken Modi Sarkar wondering how to try and reach a few, cross 100 seats or something like that in the next Lok Sabha. The anger is palpable, and there's just so much, ferment in rural India that I think these are the last days of the Modi-Amit Shah duo, even within the BJP.
Wow, panic-stricken move this last minute. But Sudhanshu, he does have a point. Why wait for the very last day of the Lok Sabha to bring in this constitutional amendment? A lot of people saying this is with an eye to the, assuage the feelings of the upper caste that were upset by the amendments to the SC/ST Act.
In any election year, every government is bound to address.
At the last minute.
So what?
That means you're panicked.
If any positive step is taken towards doing something which endears you to the people, it is panic. I mean, show me one government, show me one party which till the last will not like to do things which will go down with people. So what's wrong with it? I mean, this entire theory, see, when you do something which creates an impact, there has to be a reaction of the opposition. Which would be what? No, we will support it, but this is panic. You have borrowed it from our manifesto. If that was your manifesto of 60 years you've ruled, you should have done it. But because they did not do it and now we are doing it and they know the impact, so it must be run down as panic. So, I mean, please call it panic. People will see they are looking down upon what is being done, and that's good for me. What's critical is, what is critical? We are all in a election mood now. We are. It cannot be denied. Now, when you say posturing, there's no posturing involved. It's a fight now. I heard we are going to be less than 100, and brilliant articulation. I must compliment Rajiv ji for his brilliant articulation. But unfortunately, brilliance of articulation and ground realities are two different things. Jesse.
Says the party which has Modi as a leader.
Jesse. We just heard we lost all 5 states. Yes, we lost 5 states. They lost 2, we lost 5. Never mind. We were not there in 2 states at all. But let's look at the mandate. Madhya Pradesh, we have more votes. 107 seats, 13 seats you lose to Nota. We lost, yes, we lost. There is a message from people. They were not forgiving us for a 15-year run we have had, and somewhere we may have disappointed them. But they're not excited about the alternative.
Let me ask your ally what he thinks of it, especially of this move, this constitutional amendment. Is it a panic-stricken move or a masterstroke?
No, I believe that every idea has its own time when it is articulated as policy. Now, we've agreed on this table, and Rajiv, my good friend from the Congress party, has said that it was there in their manifesto. So the obvious question is, if it was, why didn't you implement it when you were in power? And if you did not do it, and if somebody has brought it, then you can fault the timing. You can perhaps say it's being done later than it should have. To that, there's a very simple response. There are so many other priorities that you deal with, and Parliament hardly functions anyway. That they brought it in, that maybe the timing is wrong. It's too close to the election. But the idea itself cannot be faulted. As far as what Rajiv said about Rafale, I'm telling you one thing. Whatever be the merits of the argument one way or the other, it hasn't become Bofors. For most people, they don't know whether Rafale is an airplane or a bird. So in terms of publicity and the ability to transform a subject in terms of electoral leverage, I'm afraid the Congress will have to do much more work in terms of its communication and publicity. Yes, parliamentary debates are another matter, but there too, there are two versions to the story. And there's a Supreme Court judgment, which of course the Congress and the opposition has questioned, but there's a Supreme Court judgment, which in the initial stages had asked for facts in a sealed cover, but then it gave its judgment that it would not interfere in the matter. There could be allegations that the Supreme Court was misled, but nevertheless, right now, in terms of the perception war, I believe the advantage lies with the BJP, because you haven't made Rafale into Bofors as yet, quite simply.
Okay.
No, Rafale is, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's a super scam.
Okay. On that note, Kalikesh, the body language. Let me bring
just one comment on it. See, why he said you couldn't make it. Why? It's an issue of credibility. Look at the two credibilities. Mr. Modi, impeccable record on issue of corruption. And look at the other side of the credibility with the Michels and no, let's not get into it. But the reason of the failure is the perception of credibility.
Kalikesh, out of the two parties, who, look at the optics. Which one is more panic-stricken?
God help this country. The way both the NDA and UPA are going. I mean, seriously, we've always had a very equidistant sort of approach, or a constructive, supportive approach as an opposition party. The Biju Janata Dal has supported both the UPA and the NDA on crucial, critical imperatives. Even now, as we speak, the constitutional amendment bill is going to be supported by the BJD. And, Biju Patnaik, I remember, told me many years ago that Garib ka koi jaat nahi hota hai. The poor have no caste. And that's really, I think this is a positive step. Whether it was thought of by the Congress, implemented by the BJP or the NDA, supported by the House or the entire Parliament, I think this is one of the few rare occasions where everybody has got down to it. We have to congratulate the NDA government putting it on the table. At the end of the day, that's what counts. There are many questions around it, like there are with the Rafale deal. We've heard enough of the Q and the AA abbreviation coming in Parliament. I think let's not degenerate this conversation into that. My basic analysis is that wherever there used to be a fight between the BJP and the Congress, it was advantage BJP earlier. What we have seen now is a distinct switch from an clear advantage of BJP to a neck-and-neck fight, be it Gujarat in some ways, be it Rajasthan, be it Madhya Pradesh or Chhattisgarh, which was a clear win for the Congress. So I see a level of disappointment and a level of frustration coming up with the NDA as it stands today. As far as the Congress is concerned, whenever a third party steps in, irrespective of what the third party is, Aka, Telangana, or what happened in Mizoram,
Or
it's
Odisha.
Well, what will happen in Odisha? Clear rejection of both the UPA and the NDA. I think the issue that both these parties face today is a climb down from what was Mr. Modi's popularity and expectation of the NDA government back then for major reforms, which hasn't happened, in my opinion. Incrementally, things have happened. But I think the expectation when Mr. Modi came in, and my personal expectation was that massive reforms are going to take place. We're going to see a hell of a lot of capacity building in the government, enabling of the private sector to come in, investments to create jobs. He talked about a second green revolution in Eastern India. None of this has taken place.
And
I
if
think
I
that's
may
where
make
my
common cause with
absolutely Bihar is there.
Kalikesh, there's a great regional imbalance. That was an expectation we had from the NDA, where both our states, being one of the least developed states, had asked for special category status, which we believe we qualify for and we need, because you cannot have in perpetuity an unequal India which is growing.
Correct.
Where 95% of all public and private investments go to 5 relatively developed states, while large swathes of population languish
And have been
in a
historically.
vicious cycle of poverty. And there, frankly, we were let down by the UPA government, and even the NDA government could have done more.
What happened to the Bihar
let
package?
me just finish this.
The big Bihar package
Okay.
that
Let me just
Mr. Modi
finish.
promised.
2019.
Now that you're back
I'll
together,
come to
has he
that.
delivered on that?
Let me just finish
One
with what
more
I was
jumla.
saying, because I
Okay, let
finished
him
with the
finish what he
NDA
is.
perspective.
Oh, you are
There, of
now-
course, is the UPA perspective. You know, while we are disappointed with the NDA, let's not forget, do we really have faith in the UPA? That's the key question. Does the voter, does the nation have faith on the UPA to deliver? I think that's where a lack of credibility exists with the UPA too. They've had 10 years. They had almost virtually, including the Rafale deal, there was almost a virtual paralysis in the government for the last 2-3 years, for whatever reason. And let's not, I mean, we can blame the BJP for creating the ruckus, etc., and for the opposition, etc., but there was inaction. And that's not what governments are for. Governments need to have change, to
In
make
fact,
change.
that is the issue for the 2019.
2019. Let's discuss 2019.
Can you expect the opposition to forge an alliance which promises credible cohesion and effective governance? That is still a factor in the mind of the voter.
And if there is a non-BJP, non-Congress alliance, would you and Kalikesh be a part of that?
We will talk, of course, but I don't believe that right now is the time to discuss this on national television.
I think my party is quite clear. We'd be happy to support a non-BJP, non-Congress-led alliance. We'd have difficulty supporting either a BJP or a Congress-led alliance.
Priya,
The basic
see,
point is about-
Kalkesh is not a part of any alliance. My friend is. So I guess
I'll let him hold on to
2000
that idea for next 2 months.
The issue is 2019 elections. You know, take one issue, I'm prepared to debate any issue with anybody. But today in this roundtable, we are discussing what is it that we are looking at in 2019.
Yeah.
To have a Gadbandhan which is not the Maha. ठीक है?
Okay.
I have talked to various prospective
Allies.
suitors of the Congress, and I was amazed that what was once thought to be the asset is now looked at as a liability,
Which is?
which is that everybody wants to have their regional Mahagathbandhans minus the Congress.
But that is a warning note for you also, Sudhanshu. I have to take a break. I want to come back
I've not been a part of that Mahagathbandhan.
Okay,
I've not
Gadbandhan
been.
is a Gadbandhan.
No, no.
Okay, I'm going to take a break, but come back also and talk about the assertion of the regional parties and the charges that have been made against the Congress. I'm going to let Rajiv have a say. So just stay with us. Hello and welcome back to the roundtable. We are here discussing the posturing for 2019 elections. Congress doesn't seem to have got off on such a good start either, you know, despite the fact that BJP may be failing, but you're not getting the advantage.
See, there are two things. One of the points was about the credibility of our governance track record. Would the Congress ever have unleashed a disaster like demonetization in the country? Would we have implemented GST in the hasty and disruptive manner that this government did, all for the sake of publicity? The kind of impact that's had on people's lives, the destruction of livelihoods, that's just, you know, not how we would govern the country, and people know that. And so, you know, there are many people who say the Congress is a natural party of governance, you know, things like that. So I'm not going into that, but basically remember that we are a steady hand on the wheel. In spite of their fudging of GDP figures, we are the party that has made India the third largest economy in the world, one of the most successful democracies, and it's still a work in progress, but we are the people who can be counted on it. Now, as far as these Gadbandhans are concerned, think about India. Just look at the map. From Kanyakumari to Kashmir, if you draw a line through that, and every state to the left of it and through
Why
the
divide
center.
India, sir?
Oh, that's their job, sir, not mine. Not mine. That's patented. BJP patent. Copyright patent. Intellectual property.
वफा की राह में कौन जीता कौन हारा ये कहानी फिर कभी.
Intellectual property dividing India is BJP's, not ours.
You just follow it.
The basic point is that we are very strong in every one of the states that the line goes through and on to the left of it. On the right side, right? Luckily, in, say, places like Tamil Nadu, we have very strong allies who are likely to help us win the entire state like we did in 2004. And then, we have some challenges going forward. So but who are those parties? Why will they necessarily go with, a dictatorial and disastrous Modi Sarkar when you have an opportunity to have a collegial alignment with the UPA?
But
so that's
Can I
where.
respond?
That's
no,
where
I'll
we're
give it a
gonna
chance.
go.
Let Pawan also come into this.
This is all against.
But Sudhanshu, you are getting a
some
chance and he
patience.
is on your side. Don't forget.
ये तो अभी छोड़ने को तैयार बैठे
For
हुए
the
हैं.
next 2
You will
months,
think
he's with
about
you.
it.
After that, we will ask him again.
Okay.
Listen, this is what I mean by coalition dharma. You must have faith in your alliance partner.
इसीलिए मैंने कहा, are you right?
Doubting,
Are you
doubting your fidelity.
Your last comment begs the question that if you don't have that faith, you can never keep a alliance and cohesion. But perhaps I should not take him seriously. What was your question, Priya?
Yeah, my question was actually this whole, with both the BJP and everybody is expecting a coalition government. It's also everybody's hoping not to make it a presidential form of elections. Given the fact that regional parties are rising in ascendance, doesn't it make sense for this Mahagathbandhan to be one of, minus the two regional main parties?
No, I think it's premature to predict an election and to essay what could be the alternative to several possibilities right now. Let the numbers come. That's the first principle that you must follow when elections are concerned.
But
Secondly, I think there is no doubt that in great parts of India, large parts of India, regional parties have the ascendancy, where neither the BJP or the Congress party have a credible or appreciable footprint.
His state and your state.
For instance, in my state, we are in alliance with the BJP and we hope to do very well, incidentally, there, along with Mr. Ramvilas Paswan. So, I think that the numbers come. What I foresee is that there would be an NDA coalition in power. And the BJP would certainly emerge as the single largest party. Now, the difference between me and Mr. Sudhanshu Mittal is that at least on public television, he may say that the BJP is getting 350 seats.
Right.
Let us assume that perhaps their tally would not be as high as 2014, which could happen to any government after 5 years of anti-incumbency, because no promises can be fulfilled to the extent that you would like them to. So if there is any erosion of seats, it would still be the single largest party and there would be a stable and effective NDA government in power.
Quickly, we have to get
You had
Kaligesh.
4.5 years and you blow it.
Let me now articulate a few facts. So we talked about the left and right and the division. Look at the irrelevance of the Congress. Because very, very tall claims have just now been made. We will be reduced to 100 and there. The nation is waiting for them. So you have a UP with 80 seats where they're irrelevant.
Got that, huh?
You have a Bihar with 40 seats where they're irrelevant. You have a West Bengal with 42 seats, they are irrelevant.
I got the large picture.
No, this is critical. Because the relevance of Congress must be understood in the terms of the tall claims.
we
I think you count the
MPs
states
in
where
each of
they're
these
relevant. That's a shorter list.
That's the exact.
We have MPs from each of these states.
Please,
They
may
are
I?
irrelevant. And that's where the Gathbandhans come in.
Relevance of 2 MPs out of 80 may be relevant for you. To me, it is irrelevant. I don't make these
I
talks.
slightly disagree with him in 20 seconds only. In a democracy, you need a strong opposition. And never underestimate a democratic opponent. I think to belittle or to be dismissive or disdainful about the opposition is not right politics. Sudhanshu, bear me out. Bear me out.
आपने मेरा सुना ही नहीं.
Bear me out.
I mean, if you're
You're on the same side, both of you.
No.
This is the condition of the NDA today.
Yes.
Because you are not letting me finish my point.
Sir, you are telling me
No,
that
let me
I am
finish my
belittling
point.
opposition which you have not even heard the argument.
But let
Let
me
him
finish
finish,
the
I'll
point,
let you
sir.
speak.
I thought everybody spoke, it was my chance.
My point
No,
is very,
Kaligesh hasn't spoken at all.
my point is very simple, that there are states in which there is a direct fight between the BJP and the Congress. And the Congress is an important force in those states. We just saw 3 states in the Hindi heart belt. I'm not saying that the Congress won with great flying colors in at least 2 states. It was a very close fight. And in fact, it was a hung parliament in both Madhya Pradesh and hung assembly in both Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. So you can't say that it doesn't exist. And even the Prime Minister, I must say to his credit, said that he never was asking for a Congress Mukt Bharat in physical terms.
Yeah, he did that change. Given the fact that, you know, I mean, the role of the Congress, do you think that they have made a difference given the fact they won the 3 assembly elections, or is it still somebody you would rather ignore then?
No, so Congress has certainly improved. I mean, the one thing that the Congress has learnt is coalition politics. Let's not forget that the Congress was in a majority, in a brute majority, for almost 50 years since independence. And the natural affinity for a party like ours, who survived on anti-Congressism for the longest time, would have been go to any government, irrespective of the fact whether we'd be with them or not with them officially on the floor of the House, but there would be a natural affinity. So the Congress has managed to collect a bunch of parties, and strangely enough, in this current NDA government, I've never seen a government lose friends or not make friends. I mean, most governments you would assume would make friends of any loose change happening, you know, any loose parties running around. This government seems to have not only made sure that nobody knew except for Mr. Nitish Kumar, who was probably, you know, pushed out by the antics of Mr. Lalu Prasad Yadav and family there. Except for that one sole aberration, most of the allies have been unhappy with the NDA government. No new allies, or very few new allies have joined, nor have they made an effort. And that to me is a bit disturbing.
Yes.
I hope if the NDA comes back in the future, I hope that changes. What has certainly changed is the Congress is the grand old party's initial period of arrogance. They have managed to subdue, subsist, and have a more practical understanding of politics as it is today. What they managed to get is a large number of non-BJP, non-NDA parties in their fold, who, not because they like the Congress very much, it's because they want to unite against what the current government represents. So this is the basic fact of, you know, of a non-popular government and a non-popular opposition. And that's what's driving the country to elections. It's not a want for a particular decision. It's how do we save ourselves from either sides, from this decision or that decision.
You said we've not had new allies. The whole Northeast, where we did not have an ally, is all about allies.
Is that allies or is that submerging them into your party?
I mean, chit bhi meri, pat bhi meri, anta mere baap ka, ye thodi chalega, bhai. I mean, either they are allies or they are not allies, yaar. Ek. So, dusra. Congress has managed many allies. Got cleared in UP. This was the biggest catch, you know, SP, BSP, Congress.
So, I'm very kicked about this UP example. You've given it 3 times already.
I am just wanting to explode a few perceptional falsehoods which are being created. That's not the reality. Now, the reality is the forces which were inimical to Mr. Narendra Modi were trying to come down together. But then the issue of leadership came up. I'm saying, is Congress going to have an alliance in West Bengal? Let's have it. You know, the regional parties, Congress has assumed that they are all a part of the bandwagon. But you are seeing each regional party is distancing itself from the Congress. Because they may have grudges against the central government, but they're not happy with the Congress for the simple reason that at the end of the day, a comparative makes you decide things. And as you said about the Congress, I just want to say, they've done very well. Yeah, from Nadir, you can only go towards Zenith.
On that note.
So I am just saying, I will endorse what he said. We are going to form the government. It was an NDA government and not a BJP government. The same shall continue. We'll welcome you then also.
Okay, there is a spirit of...
Picture abhi baki.
हाँ, बिल्कुल साहब. चुनाव के बाद ही आएगी. Just one fact. One fact. Non-Congress, non-BJP. Do you know, in Indian history of democracy, both the parties together has never been less than 272.
Okay, so much for that. You wanted the last word after this?
Absolutely. There's always time for a new situation. I think Sudhanshu is going to be unpleasantly surprised if he believes that both the parties together cannot be less than 272. I think
never
that's
said.
a very
I've said
real
they've never been.
possibility.
I've said they've never
especially this
been.
time. Especially this time around. What I think must happen for us as a political class is to understand that governance is not just the, riyasat of the Prime Minister and his Council of Ministers. The responsibility lies on Parliament. Unfortunately, over the years, we've diminished the role of Parliament.
What I found very interesting is that it's not just the BJP narrative or the Congress narrative, but also the narrative of the regional parties that is coming to the fore. And I suspect we are going to see a lot more of that in the coming months. But that's it for now. Thank you for watching this show. We'll see you again same time next week.